Hi guys, how are you today? This is ahead of the competition, and today we're looking at uh, 5 new tips for reading comprehension for the GRE. This is part one, and I think we'll be back with 2 more videos for the same. Uh, so, let's look at the tips now. Just a second. Yeah. So the first is overview. Now, whenever you're faced with a reading comprehension question, what you should do is just give it a very quick read and get an overview of what exactly the paragraph is about. And why you should do this is because sometimes the first question is it's what is the paragraph about, and you can answer that question when you get an overview. And also, getting an overview helps you to form better notes and to understand the topic better when you go for a second read. So the tips for overview is you can either read the whole paragraph, the whole reading comprehension RC passage completely from the beginning to the end, or what you can do is you can read the first lines and the last lines of every single paragraph, so that you get an idea of exactly what the passage is talking about. And just reading the first line and the last line of every single paragraph will give you a very good idea of exactly what the topic is, the passage is talking about. And then if you're not able to answer the question, mostly you will be able to answer that question about which asks you about what this passage talks about. But even if you're not able to answer that question, you would have a very good idea. You would, and you would take really good notes when you read it for the second time. So just give it so in just 30-40 seconds, just give a complete very casual kind of a rough kind of a read through the whole passage, so you get more comfortable with it and you understand what the topic is about. The next is paragraph wise notes. Now, when you make notes, don't keep like make sure that you keep separation between the paragraphs. Don't just write everything in one go, and then because you won't know which paragraph is talking about what. Now, this is very important to know which paragraph is talking about which what topic exactly, because sometimes you might have to go back to the passage, right? Sometimes to look for the answers. And not only that, but at least it keeps your reading comprehension or your notes really organized, and then you're able to answer those questions very easily when you do this. Next is always go back to the passage. Don't depend on memory. So now this goes hand in hand with the last tip, paragraph-wise notes. So when you have taken paragraph-wise notes, you can always go back to the passage because you know which paragraph talks about what topic. The key here is do not depend on your memory, because when you have read something, you think you've understood it and you think you remember what they were talking about. But then when you actually get back to it, when you actually answer that question, you would notice that you have gone wrong because you're depending on your memory. Always, whenever you see the question, just see in your notes which paragraph was the topic in, what they're talking about, that exact same thing. Just go back to the paragraph, just go back to the passage to that same paragraph suggested by your notes, and then read the exact thing that they're asking about, because you might mix up. I mean, most of the people, they mix up because they rely on the memory. They don't rely on the notes. Okay, so para by para, if difficult. What this means is, most of the reading comprehensions, you will notice that the questions, the order of the questions. Let's say the first question would be about the first paragraph, and the fifth question would be about the fifth paragraph, and in between it would be the same. Like, for example, the first question is about the first, second question is about the second paragraph, third is about the third paragraph, like that, right? So a lot of people, what they do is they just read the first question, and they read the first paragraph and then answer the first question. Then they move on to the next question, and then they read the second paragraph, and then they answer the second question. And this is a very nice strategy. But in the recent GRE, like this year's GREs, it has been noticed that in some of the questions, they have not divided it really well, paragraph by paragraph. Sometimes even in the third or fourth question, they ask questions or details from the first paragraph. So that's why sometimes in some of the paragraphs it is important to read the whole thing. But sometimes if paragraph is difficult, don't read the whole thing. Just read the first paragraph, answer the first question, then go to the second question and read the second paragraph, and so on, because that will help you understand better, because it will help you break down the difficult passage into the small paragraphs, so that you're able to understand it better. You will be able to answer the questions better, and you won't have to stress your brain too much, and you'll increase your probability of getting the right questions right. Now, next is this is the last tip that you have for today. So this is really diverse topics. Now, you might have interests, let's say in physics, but the questions can be from behavioral psychology sometimes, right? So it is very important that you read articles from literature, you read from psychology, physics, chemistry, biology, any of the topics, or anthropology even, so the best thing to do is to follow websites like Arts and Letters Daily and Nautilus and New Yorker. Read all the articles on there, and you will have a better idea. You will be better prepared to handle the GRE questions. And a lot of the books, like the Manhattan Prep, the Princeton Prep, these books will have a lot of the reading comprehension uh, sample questions. So read those also. They also, in a way, they help you to broaden your mind, or and helps you to get more comfortable with diverse topics. So the more comfortable you are with a particular subject, the easier it'll be for you to answer questions correctly in the GRE. Because let's say if you have no idea about biology and you hate it, and you see a question which is a little bit complex, now, you don't even if you know biology, you don't have to know the exact particular topic being talked about in biology, but you need to know the basic vocabulary of biology so that you're able to understand the topic better. So let's say if you don't know anything about biology and you hate it, you will have a difficult time understanding the question and answering it, because you want to get comfortable with all the topics, all this type of subjects that can come in the GRE, so that you stay excited and you stay interested in the topic when you're reading the passage. Otherwise, you'll just doze off and you'll get a very, very bad score. Anyhow, let's look at the tips again. The first tip was get an overview. Read the first and second, the first and the last lines of each of the paras to get an overview of what the topic, what the subject is all about, what the passage is all about, and you can then answer the first question, which asks you what is the passage about. Parawise notes. Whenever you take notes, divide them into different paragraphs, depending on the paragraphs the passage is present in. Right. So go back. Don't depend on memory. Do not rely on your memory, because you will mix things up. Go back to the passage. Look at your notes. Go back to the exact paragraph of the passage that talks about those details, and then answer the question appropriately, para by para if difficult. So whenever the questions are difficult, go para by para. Like the first question would refer to the first paragraph, second question would refer to the second paragraph, and so on. Read diverse topics. Read a lot of diverse topics. This is a very, very important tip, like I've explained already. You have to get comfortable with a lot of topics. Now, thank you for tuning in for our video today, and we'll be back with a new video tomorrow. Keep tuning in. Do not forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. And I hope you have a good day, and thank you.